Hey everyone, I'm Alex. Thanks for clicking. You are learning English with EngVid. Today, I want to give you some practical English that you can use for speaking on the phone, specifically if you are a receptionist. So maybe you work in an office where you have patients or clients or customers coming in. Maybe you have to make appointments for, your manager or somebody else in the office. So today, what I want to do is give you all of the most essential, necessary language that you need in order to answer the phone, ask for someone's identity, ask people to hold, how to take a message, and how to answer or how to finish a phone call. So let's begin by introducing yourself when you answer a call. So someone calls your office, you pick up, and I have given you three different options here. So if this were me, if I were you, I might say, "Hello, EngVid Services, Alex speaking. How may I help you?" So in this case, hello, your company's name, your name, speaking. And always, how may I help you or how can I help you? May is more polite than can, but both are used when you answer the phone. You can also answer the phone if you are in a rush. Maybe you just give the company name. So if I say, EngVid Services, how can I help you? Right? It depends on the pace of your office sometimes, if you have time for the full thing. Finally, a little more extensive here. Hello, you have reached, or you've connected with EngVid Services. How can I help you? All right, so we have three options here. For now, just repeat after me. How can I help you? Okay, and let's do more polite. How may I help you? Good. Make sure you really say that H. I know it's tough in some languages. I have taught many French speakers who have a tough time with the how. So it's not ow, but how. How. How may I help you, for example? Okay, so this is if someone calls you. If you call someone, you could say, hello, this is your name from your company. For example, hello, this is Alex from EngVid Services. How are you doing today? Right? So you can introduce yourself. You can ask how the person is doing if you want to be a little more personal. You could also say, hi, I'm calling from EngVid Services. Maybe you are returning a call, for example. Hi, I'm calling from EngVid Services. You left a message for us, for example. All right, so here we go, introducing yourself when you answer a call, introducing yourself if you make a call. And now let's move on to asking for someone's identity. So you could use some of these when you are making or receiving a call. In this case, if you are calling someone, you could say, is this? And you say the person's name. For example, or the office, the company. Is this Dr. Wagner's office, for example? Or am I speaking to Emma, for example? Or who am I speaking to? If someone calls you, you can use this, right? So who is calling or who am I speaking to if you don't know their name? Now, if you call someone, you have to ask usually, right? So you call them, you say, hello, this is Alex from EngVid Services. And they say, oh, hi. And then you can say, is available. So you are asking for a specific person. Let's imagine this person's name is Fred, right? So is Fred available? Is Fred there? May I speak with Fred, please? Okay. So you have multiple options. Is available. So let's slow this word down a little bit. I know it's also a challenge for some speakers. Available. Okay. And let's try, is Fred available? Okay, thank you very much. And of course, you can also confirm your identity. So, Alex speaking, this is Alex. So, if someone calls you and they ask for you, maybe you can say, yeah, this is Alex. This is me, right? Or Alex speaking, just as we have here. Hello, EngVid Services. Alex speaking. How may I help you? So far, so good? Okay, excellent. Let's keep going with some more phone skills. Now, of course, sometimes when you are on the phone with someone, you have to ask someone to wait or to hold. So here are some things you can say to ask someone to wait on the phone. For example, you can repeat this after me. 1 moment, please. Could you hold, please? Give me a moment, please. 1 moment, I'll check. And this will link later on in this video to tell someone what you are doing, the action that you are doing in the moment. So yeah, as you can see, very useful sentences to ask someone to just wait a little bit. Next, you have to let someone know when they call that maybe the person they are looking for is not available. So for example, repeat after me. I'm sorry, he's not available. She's not in today. He's occupied at the moment. She's on vacation until Monday. So the word occupied, you can also say he is busy, right? He's busy at the moment. Not bussy, busy. He's busy at the moment. You can also say, I'm sorry, he's not available at the moment. That is also possible, of course. And we don't say in the moment in this case. It's at the moment, at this moment, the precise time, right? Okay, so we have asking someone to wait. 1 moment, please. I'm sorry, he's not available. Next, leaving a message. So if someone calls, they would like to speak to someone at your office, they are not available, you can ask the person one of these 2 questions. So please repeat after me. Would you like to leave a message? Can I take a message? Okay, perfect. So would you like, of course, is a little more polite, right? Is this something you desire? So would you like to leave a message? Can I take a message, right, from you or for you as well? Also, when you are on the phone, it's a good idea to let the other person know what you are doing sometimes or the actions that you are taking to help them. So if they are asking you if someone is available or if something is ready or if they can come to your office at 5 o'clock, you can say something like, I can check, or, oh, I can check that for you, right? So repeat after me. We'll say the full sentence here. I can check that for you. Excellent. And repeat after me. I'll see what I can do. I know this contraction is always tricky for people. I'll or I'll see, I'll see. If it's tricky for you, you could just say, I will. I will see what I can do. I say it when I don't think about, my English. I say, I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. And then finally, repeat after me. Let me look at her calendar. Okay, good. So yeah, let me look at her calendar. I will check her calendar to see when she is available, when she can talk, for example, or when you can make an appointment. And finally, at the end of the phone call, you can ask if the caller has more questions. The most common ways to do this: repeat after me. Is there anything else? Will that be all? Is that everything? Can I help you with anything else? That's it. So, yes, is there more, right? Do you have another question? Is there another issue that I can help you with? That's basically it. All right, everyone. So today you have learned a lot of valuable phone skills if you deal with clients, customers, patients, if you are a receptionist, if you take calls and make calls at an office. I hope you have found this lesson useful. Go back, watch it again, pay attention to the pronunciation and the intonation. And until next time, you can say this when you answer and finish a call. Have a nice day. Bye.